Are you ready to unleash your full potential and become unstoppable in your success and leadership?
Welcome to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast, where we provide powerful insights and strategies for coaches, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I'm Alexanne Carter.
And I'm Carol Register, and we're certified master neurocoaches who are passionate about helping you overcome your limiting beliefs and optimize your performance.
Each week, we'll be sharing actionable tips and strategies using neuroscience, from interviews with industry experts to solo episodes to help you lead a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms.
Join our community of like-minded individuals. Hit subscribe now, and let's be unleashed and unstoppable together.
All right, leader, welcome. I cannot believe that we are just days away to ringing in the new year of 2024. And I know Carol and I are so excited to have Hayley Hobson with us today to really lean into setting you up for success for 2024, leaning into creating that 10 out of 10 life. Hayley and I met several years ago when she was on one of my events, Productivity Secrets of High-Performing Female Leaders. And Hayley and I have crossed paths over the years in other productivity spaces because we just love productivity. And then Hayley and I got to spend a more intimate time together this past year in a leadership container, really up-leveling our leadership. And one thing I just admired about Hayley was just how she really took everything and ran with it all and just transformed her life completely in all areas, right? I mean, Hayley was thriving in many areas. And after this transformation, it was just everywhere. And I was saying to Carol, like, I would love to have Hayley in here, and having Hayley here right as we're the end of the year here, stepping into 2024, for Hayley to really to speak to our audience of leaders and high performers so that everyone can really create what Hayley got to create this year and create that 10 out of 10 in all areas of your life. So Hayley, we are so excited to have you here with us. And yeah, why don't we just dive in? Hayley, do you want to take a moment just to share a little bit about your story? I mean, you have overcome some health challenges. I mean, you have just drastically done amazing things with your business, right? And I see you as a pioneer at the forefront of transformation of leadership and just what you've been able to create. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about that with our audience.
Thank you. Yeah. So my journey begins probably like back when I finished college and went to law school for the 3 years, graduated, became a corporate bankruptcy attorney. And I was sort of a black sheep of my family back then. I was the Grateful Dead head. I went to like 100 shows in a couple of years. And I just, when I quit the practice of law to become a Pilates and a yoga teacher, my parents were like, great, I'm really glad we invested in all of your education. What are you doing with your life? And you know what I was doing with my life? I was following my heart. I was following my heart. I was following my gut. And when we live in our passion, we always win. So I created a health coaching business. I created a life coaching business. I ended up in the transformational leadership space. And along the way, I built one of the top network marketing teams in one of the biggest network marketing companies in the world with doTERRA essential oils, which has provided me with a phenomenal financial abundant lifestyle, which has then allowed me to create other things that I'm passionate about. For instance, I'm doing some transformational leadership coaching now, some business coaching now. I travel a ton. I'm on different stages. I'm here with you on this podcast. And my newest passion is talking to people about how they can thrive while they travel, because I spend a lot of time on the road. So I speak a lot to women who are over 40, who want to look better, who want to feel better, who want to boost their immune system, who want to sleep better, who want to live a thriving life, be in relationship with themselves, their bodies, their partner, their children, and make money.
Well, we're all about that, right, Carol?
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. It's so interesting about building your business in doTERRA. I just came back from an event, a televised event in LA with Mr. Singh, who is one of the billionaires in doTERRA. And it was really lovely to meet with him, and what a successful company to take part in. And also absolutely powerful with those essential oils and all. How did you get involved with doTERRA?
I got involved with doTERRA because I was having a health breakdown myself, and my body went into a complete state of fight or flight about 12 to 13 years ago. My digestive system completely crashed. And before that, I already was dealing with what's known as a malrotation of the colon. So it's on the wrong side of my body. And instead of it being in this beautiful little like position where the peristalsis can happen naturally in your body, my intestine was in knots on the wrong side of my body. So I'd been dealing with a lot of irritable bowel my whole life. I don't think I know, we didn't know what we didn't know, 20, 30 years ago. And what we know now is that when we don't have proper nutrition, and where our body is receptors to all kinds of environmental stress, financial stress, stress that we make up and put on ourselves, relationship stress, then what can happen is a lot of inflammation in the body and our organs stop working, which is what happened to me. I was on a fight or flight path to death. Like literally, I'm not exaggerating. And everybody had been giving me those hints through my life, like, Hayley, you work too hard, or Hayley, you take things too seriously, or Hayley, you're doing this, or Hayley, you should rest. But it was when I was laying down on that table in my integrative holistic doctor's office, and all he did was take my pulse and look at my tongue and said, you're not going to make it. And the tears started flying down my eyes, pouring down my eyes. And I said, all right, what do I get to do? And he said, you get to change your life now. And so we started this long process of shifting and bringing in different modalities like meditation and less intense exercise and a plant-based diet. And I actually ended up juicing for 2 weeks straight without any solid food, and then moving to a vegan diet and supplementation, herbs, Chinese herbs, supplementation. And through that, through one thing you find another, I found somebody who said, you should try these essential oils. And to be honest with you, even though I was that Grateful Dead head, like, pioneer, willing to try anything, I really did have some skepticism around essential oils because my dad was a medical doctor. And back then, growing up, that's just not how I was raised. I thought it had to be FDA approved. I thought a medical doctor had to prescribe it. So we had a medicine cabinet as big as my office and a VIP ticket into any healthcare facility or emergency room. And that's how my family operated. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just what I knew and the lens through which I was looking. And so why would I think that something that came out of a little bottle looking like this, that didn't have any medical prescription to it, could do something like reduce inflammation or boost my immune system or support my digestion or alleviate tension in my head? I didn't believe it. So I decided I'd try it anyway because I am the pioneer that I am. And I did have a feeling in my gut, no pun intended. And it was like a miracle. It was really like a miracle. Like what was happening inside my body shifted so much. I went from being in pain every day to no longer being in pain. And I went from being on sleep medications for 15 years to sleeping like a baby without any meds. So I was sold. And then I really shifted my entire career at that point to say, hey, there are more natural ways that we can do things. And what you see isn't always the truth. Mm-hmm. So are you open to another possibility?
Yeah. Wow. I love that it's the neuroscience, right? Right. Like you might see this in front of you, but when you can step into possibility, and we all know here, right? 100% is possible 100% of the time. Things shift and things open. And I love that, Hayley, like that happened with you there. And then I feel like you've just kind of noticed that, like I'm sure through your journey now, like
it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Like on a daily basis, possibilities are opening up. Like just Alex, even the relationship that we have had is possibility. Like look at what's happened. You reached out to me out of nowhere. It was pandemic. I was sitting at home. There was not as much going on. I said yes to you. I didn't know who you were. And then our paths kept crossing. We end up in PhD together. We end up here. Like, it's just a never ending web of energy that allows us to step into something bigger if we are watching it. I was having a conversation with my husband this morning. We were down in the kitchen. And so we live here in Boulder, Colorado. And we also have another home in San Diego, California, because when I moved here, after I met him, I had been living in LA, and I was open to the possibility of being bi-coastal and having mountain beach homes. So 8 years into our relationship, we ended up buying a second home. And I've been talking to him about the possibility of making an investment into one of his parents' homes when they are old enough to not want to go there anymore. They have a home in Breckenridge, which is about 2 hours from us here. And they're in their 90s. And it's very high altitude. I mean, their home is at almost 12,000 feet above sea level.
Wow.
And it is a long drive for them to make from Kansas City when they come out. It's like a 10, 11-hour drive. So I've been sharing with him, like, what would it be like to keep the house in the family, for us to buy it from them so that they feel like they are receiving income. And there's just, what I notice about him and other people is there's always pushback. There's always a, what if that doesn't happen? And so I said to him, I said, there is no what if. There's only a, we get to do this because it's a win-win for everyone. They receive, we could even do seller finance where they were receiving money now for the rest of their retirement. We have a home that we renovate, rent out, make Airbnb income on, and then it's in the family. Like, there's just possibility everywhere. And there is no what if. Like, there are no back
can
doors.
Be shifted. I've been using what if, but I've been using it, what if what I absolutely want to happen happens? What if it's ideal? Like, shifting it from that negativity bias that we have to the positive. I got to use it in LA and it was fabulous. I was like, what if everything works out better than I can ask or imagine, which is really 100%. Cool.
There was something else that he said to me yesterday, the day before. It was a scenario that I was creating. I don't remember what it was about, but it was about something that we were doing or something that I was doing in my business, he was just all about, well, what if? And I was like, that's not even an option. Like, this is what I'm doing and it's going to work. There is no what if it doesn't. It's only going to work because my focus and intention is there.
I was just about to say that. What I'm hearing you is setting the intention, right? Setting the intention. Often with my husband, I'll say, just humor me. Just humor me for a second. So you hear me out, right? And I think that's the beauty of leadership. That's the beauty of leaders. I mean, we know you, listener, like, you have a vision, you have big goals and big dreams. And what I'm hearing Hayley say is, like, as you're stepping into 2024, step into the possibility of it's going to create. Carol, you just mentioned the negativity bias. And a lot of times that's what happens, right? Especially when we are these visionaries, we have these big goals and vision, we start to share them and we start to maybe encounter some resistance from other people. So just stepping into laying that intention, sharing it out loud and leaning into, the intention, and it gets to be created. And it might look different than you anticipate it's going to be created, but it gets to be created and you get to be detached of how it looks. I think that's what happens a lot of times, right? Leaders, it's always being attached to how it looks and just getting to release it and trust and surrender that it's all going to fall into place, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Going beyond the circumstances or the pushback that you're receiving, and you stated that so clearly, Hayley, which was fabulous. It is going to happen. It is going to work.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
So Hayley, for the listener, for 2024, when we think about creating, right, your 10 out of 10 life, what are some things that you want the listener to kind of get a grasp on, right? As they're we're at end of 2023, we're looking at everything that you've created in 2023, celebrating everything you've created and really setting the foundation for success for 2024. What are some things you invite the listener to lean into so they really do get to create that 10 out of 10 life for themselves?
I've been leaning into, and I'm actually creating a workshop on this, or we're hosting a workshop on this tomorrow, the idea of creating our ideal calendar for how we want our life to look
Mm.
in a year. And I don't mean it from like a teach me how to time block mentality. I mean it from like what is it that I want to see on my calendar and what is it that I don't want to see there anymore? So for instance, about a month ago, I actually deleted everything on my calendar. Just took it off. I wrote down obviously a couple of things that I just wanted to put back on. But I said to my assistant, I'm like, I just want to start with a clean slate because there's a lot of stuff on here right now. And I don't want to do it all anymore. Like, it's not my vision. I'm not living in my vision, continuing on with some of these things. So we looked at it and it was like, and this has been a process for me over the last, I would say since COVID ended. What do I want to eliminate? What do I want to defer to another time? What I want to completely eliminate. And I was writing a blog that I didn't want to be involved in anymore. I was recording my own podcast that I wanted to do a little bit less. I was doing a lot of social media that I wanted to be less involved in. I wanted to coach more. I wanted to lead more trainings. I wanted to travel more. I wanted my team to lead more meetings without me. I wanted to be in Voxer less in terms of communication. So it was like, okay, what do I want my day to look like? What is a non-negotiable to me? Like, what is in my heart that no matter what gets to be on my calendar? When I think about that, the first thing I think about is I have a 14-year-old and she's at that age where she's, she just finished middle school. She's in her first year of high school. They come home from school and you're like, hey, how's your day? Good. What's going on? Nothing. And they just run up to the room and they close the door. So I said, what I get to do every day is I get to drive her to the bus stop. It's like 4 blocks away, but it's a long 4 blocks and she's got the heavy backpack. And so that gets on my calendar. Like I organize my whole morning around that bus drop off where I get to leave the house at 7:15 and drop her off at 7:22. Okay. So then what do I want the rest of the morning to look like? What do I want to give to myself in the morning before I actually drop her off and then focus on other people? Do I want to do some morning meditation? Do I want to do a workout? Do I want to nourish myself? Do I want to, do an extensive skincare routine, whatever? So what are like the things that fill me up that make me feel like I'm ready to give for the day? And then once I drop her off, what else do I want to do before I'm ready to give my attention to other people or work? And what time do I want to be done with my day? So that I have time to debrief myself, my team, journal, prepare for the next day, rest, rejuvenate, connect with family, have time for a phone call with a friend, get to bed. So I'm sleeping between 7 and 8 hours and then wake up and feel excited and passionate about my life again. So it was like really like coming up with this is non-negotiable for me. I am working out on the daily. I am going to sleep by 9 on the daily. I am finishing my day by 3 or 4 because I know I need that time to wind down, prepare, debrief, connect, and rest. I know I'm not starting before 9 or 9:30 or 10 because I know I need that time, want that time, desire that time to focus on my own well-being so that I can give to others. So it's like, what are the things in your business that you want to focus on? I'm really excited about this topic that I just came up with a couple of weeks ago about really diving in more about travel. I've been talking about longevity hacks and anti-aging hacks and living abundantly over 40. But now with the 2 months that I just spent on the road and how well and primed I kept myself and how many questions I got from everybody about how I do that on the daily, I'm really excited to dive into that kind of content. So where is your focus? What are you passionate about? What are your priorities? I'm not going to tell you what to do because I don't know what you're passionate about. I don't know what is a ride or die for you, but what do you get excited about? And how do you want to show up and for whom on the daily? And then build out your ideal calendar so it has time for work, making money, and also really diving into yourself and your family, your connections, your friends, and living a very abundant, healthy, and wealthy life.
Mm-hmm. Wow. As you're sharing that, Hayley, the word that kept coming to me is connection. Connection. And I think it's oftentimes one of the first things that gets thrown to the wayside, right? Right? Connection with yourself, connection with others, with your children, with your partners, with your family. And so that's what I'm hearing you is like, get connected with what's important to your passions, yourself, your loved ones, and prioritize that. Really make sure that's the priority above anything else to help you create that 10 out of 10 life, right? You go first, right? Like you go first. And then once, right, they say put your oxygen mask on first before you help others. So that's,
Hayley, you're really speaking in our language, isn't she?
Allison,
totally speaking our language. So, and this has been so present on both Alex, Leanne, and I's minds. And if it's not a hell yes, then it's a hell no, right? And you put it in those kind words, but sometimes that emphasis, I need that emphasis, right? To really be able to say, oh, this might be good. I'm dealing with that situation right now. Exactly. This might increase my visibility. This and that and the other. But is it a hell yes for me? And is it something I'm passionate about? Or would I rather be spending time with my daughters? And I love this.
Yeah. I think also like we can't show up and enroll people in ourselves and in our vision if we're not lit up ourselves. And it's hard to be lit up when you're exhausted, when you're not sleeping, when you're completely depleted, when you haven't taken care of yourself, when your oxygen mask, as you mentioned, is not on, when you're not nourishing yourself. So what good are you to anybody? What kind of example are you to anybody if you're not showing up for yourself? Most people want to have, like, as I go into the new year, like, tell me all the tips and give me all the to-dos that will get me from A to Z. And what they don't understand is it's not the list to check off. Sure, there are ways to be strategic in your life, obviously, but the way to win and the way to find that financial security and abundance is by being someone who is friggin' lit up about their life and attracting like a magnet people towards them for opportunity.
Oh, so good, right, Alex?
Oh yeah.
So
Hayley's hitting on my heartstrings right now, right?
Yeah.
So as we wrap up here today, Hayley, is there any final words that you want to share with our audience as they step into 2024 to create their 10 out of 10 lives?
Yeah, I would just leave with reminding everybody that you have everything inside of you. You know all the answers. And if you are doubting yourself, if you're asking for permission, if you're asking how, if you're trying to figure it out, remember that there's no trying. There's just doing. There's no trying. There's just being. And step into the unknown and figure it out. That's what every one of us do. None of us have all the answers like on paper. We just step into it and we find them along the way because they're inside of us. So just notice what kind of insecurities, notice what kind of doubts are living inside of you, and just say, who gives a shit? And just move.
I love that. And everything's figure outable, right? Just get the right, lean in, connect with yourself and your heart, and everything is figure outable. So beautiful. Thank you so much, Hayley. Now, I know you've got a lovely gift for our audience today. So if talk about more specifics, right? In terms of your longevity guide. Do you want to share a little bit about your longevity guide, especially as you're talking, a little bit more what you've been so passionate about lately?
The longevity, I love the longevity guide. I spent quite a while putting it together because I wanted it to just not be just tips and hacks that I use or go-tos on the daily, but I wanted it to actually be like a really beautiful read. So I dive into like what my morning routine looks like, and you can feel it tactically as you're going through it. My afternoon routine, my evening routine. I literally dive into like times that I start and stop things, but I also share multiple different products or techniques or strategies that I'm using in my day. And by longevity, I mean like longevity is our ability to sustain time, right? So how do we show up and feel like we've got a lot of life inside of us? I had my biological age tested about 2 years ago, and I'm 54. And the doctor came back and was like, I have never seen a test like this before. Do you want to guess how old your body is testing biologically? And I was like, I don't know, 42, because I was like 52 at the time, or yeah. And he's like, nope, try again. So I'm guessing, and my body was testing as an 18 to 20-year-old.
Wow.
So the reason I'm sharing this with you is that what I'm doing is working for me. So I'm delivering it to you if you want to try it. So whether it's literally like my coffee enema routine once a week, or the skincare that I'm using on my face in the morning, or the supplements I'm taking, or the way that I track my sleep, like all of that is there for you in the guide.
Wow.
Awesome. I was also going to add, like, Hayley is very active on Instagram. Like, you can watch her videos, you can see her actually doing the things that she talks about in this guide. So I really invite you to follow her on Instagram. And I have a link here. Oh, it's at Hayley Hobson.
That's my name. Yeah. Hayley Hobson, Hayley. I'm one of the very unique and original Hayleys before it became popular. And the original spelling is Hayley.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Hayley, for being here today. We want to wish our listeners a very happy new year. We're so thankful for you, and we can't wait to bring you more exciting neuro hacks and tips and tricks for performance and wealth and health and just greatness in 2024. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the new year. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Alexandra Carter and Carol Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review, and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.